Hi everyone, my name is Miriam Kitab and I'm one of the team members from Dream Group. Today I'll be discussing challenging behavior. So let's take a look at what is challenging behavior. So it is essentially a perception of behavior or a recurrent pattern of behavior that interferes with or threatens to interfere with pre-social interactions with adults and peers for optimal learning. Negative outcomes and academic achievement may increase as a result of these challenging behaviors. So here I've provided a list of examples of behaviors. So children may be displaying behaviors on an everyday basis, such as crying, throwing tantrums, not wanting to share toys, yelling. Some challenging behaviors that children may be displaying would be hitting, biting, refusal to follow the rules or routines of the classroom, throwing objects, screaming at everyone, and throwing a tantrum. And typically, sometimes children may be displaying these challenging behaviors on an every single day basis, and that's completely normal and okay for them to do. So remembering that all behavior is communication. So every action takes place for a reason. The reason may be obvious at times, and at other times it may not be. But what is certain is that your child is displaying that difficult behavior because it fulfills that special need for him and her. So understanding why the behavior is occurring is essential for selecting more appropriate behaviors to replace the difficult ones, essentially, as well as developing that efficient long-term plan. There are three common functions of challenging behavior that I will focus on, and this is access, attention, and escape. So let's take a look at access. So this means that children may engage in challenging behavior in order to obtain that tangible item or to participate in a desired activity. So this could be food, toys, a turn at a game, etc. are some examples of tangible items. Attention. So children may engage in challenging behaviors to gain that attention of others. So this could be their parents, their siblings, their teachers, their peers, and so on. Your child may be seeking attention in any way that he or she can. And escape. So children may get away from situations or tasks or people, and thus children may engage in challenging behavior. So here I've provided examples of some challenging behaviors for each function to help you get a better understanding of what they mean. So for access, so say your child walks up to his siblings at home or peers at school and decides to hit them. They are now gaining access to the toy car they wanted. Your child may learn that punching others will gain access to the toy car that he or she wanted. Escape. So if your child throws their food on the ground and you respond saying, okay, lunch is over, he or she may discover that by throwing their food on the ground means that he or she is not required to eat anymore. When we look at attention, I think an important thing to remember, as I mentioned earlier, is your child may be seeking attention in any way that he or she can. This could simply imply by praising them or even being outraged with them. So say, for example, you decide to stop carrying a child and place him and her on the floor to stand alongside you while you're talking to another individual. Your child, instead of sitting there quietly by your side, they decide to scream and cry due to this. You respond back by yelling at the child, stating, "Stop screaming and crying, I'm talking to someone." The child may understand that by crying and screaming while you're talking to someone will get their attention, will get your attention. So can behavior be changed? The simple answer is yes. So oftentimes when children are displaying these challenging behaviors, we're so focused on fixing them so that way they don't do it again. However, we don't take a look at our own behaviors that we're displaying when we're approaching the situations. And oftentimes the reality is that we need to change our own behaviors in order for the children to change their behavior that they're displaying as well. As oftentimes our own behavior impacts the children. So how do we do this? So throughout this video series that you'll be watching, my peers Aisha, Jody, Sahar, and Megan will be going in depth about what each of these mean. But to give you a little idea of some of the ways that you can do this. So by providing your children with predictable routines, so having clear age appropriate expectations that they will be able to follow through, planned ignoring. So at times you are not responding to those challenging behaviors that the children may be displaying at the time. You know, you're teaching them new behaviors and positive reinforcement. So I think it's also important to remember that challenging behavior can oftentimes get worse before it gets better. But the important thing to remember is keep going because you are doing great and you can do it. So some tips that you may find helpful would be start small, work on one thing at a time, identify the behavior you want to change, commit to changing that behavior, continue watching these short series of videos that are displayed by myself and my peers. And if it doesn't work, that's completely okay. Try again. And remember, you are doing great.